Evening, everyone. Normally, I don't make night videos, but I'm just kind of excited to talk about this again. Yeah, it's another convocation video. I know I made the whole storm video, and I don't know, maybe I'll test them, but I really do love playing convocation, and I made a video about going into Secret Wars and what's not, and that didn't go well. We're not going to talk about that game. Did not go well. Things died very quickly, and we're just going to leave it at that. We're going to keep moving on. I don't have anything major coming up soon with Secret Wars being over. I think the next lunch meet is in like 2 weeks, maybe. It's in a week, but I know there's talk about maybe waiting a week because Mini Stravaganza is coming up in 2 weeks, and we don't know what's going to drop there. I mean, there's speculation, right? They made changes last year. Maybe they make changes this year. There's potential for APOC or Inhuman stuff. I mean, those are the two that's been doing the best. Will they ever touch Zemo or Shang or Bill or something? Who knows? Um, but almost with that on the horizon, like, I really don't have a reason to move off of Convocation too much. I really enjoy playing them. Um, I'm going to make some changes to at least test some stuff, which we'll talk about. In fact, really what sparked it is I was speaking to some of the Italian WTC guys, and there's one of them who plays Convocation, and they didn't play the WTC, but they think it's really strong. And I think it just conflicted with Apocalypse, and obviously Inhumans and Apocalypse being really good. Like, him basically saying that he thinks Convocation is super strong, especially if any of the really, really top stuff got nerfed. Not that I didn't already know that and play them to a level that I felt that, but I was like, oh man, this is like invigorating me. So I messaged him and we're talking. And he's super nice, and we're sharing ideas. And it's funny because we share some views. Like, there's some like views that I'm just like, man, you're just I feel you. We're connected. And there's some where I'm like, you're crazy. You're fucking crazy. And that's an Italian for you, because I told them too. Like, I played Warhammer and stuff, and I know some Italians from playing Warhammer. And every time we went to the big like European team championships, the WTC of Warhammer, I went a couple times for the US team. Like, the Italians always had like the craziest lists where you're just like, what the fuck are you thinking? And sometimes they failed, and sometimes you're like, man, they just caught out everybody. And it's funny to see it kind of happen in MCP as well. I won't go through all like the stuff that he likes and does like, but I know he had like intrusions in his roster, and he likes the idea of Werewolf by Night. I mean, he's still working on things, especially I think he hasn't played it in a while, but he liked doing Werewolf by Night and like Mordo to like do an 8 dice attack turn one, stuff like that. And I was talking to him, and I shared some things that I like and some things the other way. Um, I think I got him to appreciate Rhino a little bit more. Uh, but it just kind of invigorated me. You talk to, and I talk to a lot of people about Convocation. So the people I talk to now, I'm not trying to say anything different, but you talk to somebody else who has like some really crazy ideas, and you're like, okay, cool. Let's see what we can think about. And I stole some of his, and I went back and forth on some things I liked. And I'm kind of at a new place, and I want to talk about it. And they're not. In the end of the day, they're not the spiciest. Like, I didn't take Werewolf by Night, or Angela or anything like that. He like had Angela on his list, or I didn't put Ancient One in. But they are. I want to talk about it because I feel like it's going to feel very like, oh, you just took other meta models, and it's kind of true, but I also want to like explain the reasoning because I do think people enjoy me talking about like some of the reasonings why I think it's good. And obviously, I think some of the stuff I'm doing right now is very good as well. Like, I'm not just uprooting my entire roster because he had some crazy idea, but like, I think it's I think it's fair to explore some of the stuff we talked about, and some things that kind of like I'm like, okay, that's fair. So this is my second win roster. I did have like the weird change I made for Secret Wars with like I think Zemo and Dracula were Space Maw and Mummy, but I want to go back to this roster because it's the one I played the most, and it's a more the transition to the next roster I think makes a little bit more smoother sense. It's just easier to talk about. You can see this stuff here. Again, some of this I wouldn't say is preempting what could change in 2 weeks because we don't know what's changing. So I have no idea if APOC is still going to be good or if Inhumans could still be super good. I'm probably, or is Zemo still going to be good? So I will say, just flat off the bat, Shang is out of the roster, and it's definitely it's sure if he gets nerfed, then I'll be a genius that's ahead of the curve. But I'll also give reasoning why, even in today's landscape, I'm a little bit more inclined to remove him, and that'll probably some of the shit I'm going to say about Shang might people won't agree with all of it. But yeah, so this is the current state. This can always change. And then this is the new one. So I'll just tell you what changed real quick. Mordo is there. Namor and Bill for Zemo, Shang, and Dracula. So a 5-4-3 just switched to different ones. And one they were all my unaffiliated, and one became affiliated. So they were all the splashes. Like all of the splashes changed just to different ones. I think Mordo is probably the one that's gonna surprise everyone, given some of the videos I've made and just my general opinion on him. I will talk about him more, and I'm gonna talk about him in a more nicer light, we'll say. But I think there are some comparisons the other way, and I do want to say that I think even the Bill and Namor, they're models that I'm like, okay, I'll give you a reasoning for them. I'll give a reason why maybe it's not as spicy of a thing. And they're probably not the most played models in the roster. I still think this model personally revolves more around Juggernaut stuff. So let's talk about Shang first. So Shang leaving the roster. Shang is good with Bump. He's good with Plains of Poldock. He's a great for. He just, I don't know. He wasn't doing the things I wanted all the time. I mean, he's just a good model. I'm not going to sit here and be like, Shang sucks. But how I play the game and stuff I like to do, I do like Rhino more. I feel like if Shang wasn't just so strong, I wouldn't have any super reason to run him, right? He's not a big base for bumps. He Plains of Pollock is a decent synergy. I mean, I can give you good. It's very easy. If I'm talking about the good stuff of a model versus if I'm thinking about a model positively versus negatively, it's easy to pick holes in it, right? So if I'm talking positive about Shang and Wizards, I'd be like, oh, he can bump into blanks or out of the second attack. He has Mystic, so he's good with Plains of Poldock, and he has his Spender on the other side, so he can do a big Spender attack. Stuff like that, right? And then I can go negative and say, well, something you might say is, well, the roster is pretty bad against long range energy. Strange, it's one of Strange's worst things. It's good against magic. If you take, yes, okay, magic is just as bad against long range physical, and technically Strange is worse against long range physical or any physical without books. But if you're against a heavy team with that, you just take books, and then energy's the best thing against you. And then Shang just kind of stacks on that weakness and says, well, I'm going to be bad against energy, long range energy, period, right? And so it kind of doubling down on that negativity is probably not a great thing. I don't firmly, I believe it, but I'm not so gung-ho about oh my god, that's such a reason you shouldn't take Shang or anything like that. I think I just want to play Rhino more. I just enjoy him more, period. Now Bill coming in for him, I think it's a couple of reasons. One, Bill is an annoyingly good model. Bill is very good with bump. Better than Shang. The big reason is he's aggressive as well. And so because he is tanky and he has aggressive, he can do some really obnoxious shit. It's one thing to be on the midline and be able to bump backwards to your own side. It's another thing to you attack Bill and then he walks at you and bumps onto your point potentially. And Andy's annoying to kill because of DR and stuff. So it's things like that kind of get in the way. He can also like bump towards you and aggressive the other way. Like there's a lot of things you can do with bump. I mean, and aggressive. As you can see, I've done it with Rhino. I've talked about it with Warpath. So he just has that kind of annoyance there. Probably something that will go a little bit further, and I'll talk about it at the end when I talk over every model. It's just the move. Well, I should talk about it now. It's the movement stuff he can do. I think it's very apparent when you put these models. What am I trying to say? When you look at Bill and you say, well, I want to grab something with him a lot of the time, right? I want to control size 4s, which he can do, and I want to grab stuff, right? He does it really well, and I think maybe one of the two unappreciated, other people appreciate it, but one that like it really, you feel it. It's the option to be able to, if I bring up TTS real quick, it's the option to be able to double walk across and to start here and get to any D, right? So that's something I notice very heavily when playing Taskmaster and like Shang and stuff is if you're on a shape like this and you don't have priority and you want Taskmaster to pick up for you, he has to commit to a side. Bill can stand in the middle and get to either side. Or he can stand across from one and get, like if it's not hammers, or you have priority and don't want to pick up a Bill, he can double walk and get to here and do something, right? So Shane can't do that, and neither can Rhino, right? So that's something that he is unique. Okay, Voodoo can do it, but Voodoo he doesn't do anything from doing it. Voodoo doesn't want to walk to here or here most of the time, and he certainly doesn't want to double walk across your Bs as your last activation a lot of the time. So Bill can be tanky and do it. He can steal back extracts potentially. Things like that. Like you can get a little spicier with him. He's better at like annoyingly grabbing a senator and stuff like that. So he just comes in when you need to be tanky. And so if you think of meta model versus meta model, Bill versus Shang, he just kind of gives me that freedom of like, if I'm going to take this even alongside Rhino, I have more options to go like left to right. If I see a lot of size 4s, he's a size 4 throw, which can be turned on by Wong. He's really annoying at being healed. Again, the aggressive and the bump. I guess as much as I hate playing Bill and Wong, Shang wasn't that much more exciting. And he probably synergizes better with Wong. Of course, getting a charge turn 1 with Shang is really good. But at the same time, like Shang could kick people turn 1 without the charge. Now, they can't push people off and stuff like that, but I mean, it's still a walk, attack, and place is fine enough. But I don't know. He's just tankier. I mean, really, it's just he's tankier and he can throw size 4s. And so you can do things like, give him a power with Wong, double walk, and throw somebody off the back point and control it, right? So, like, he gives you more, like, depth options. Stuff like that. Like, yeah. Or walk, throw somebody backwards if you really want to. Yeah, it's just being able to do that. Like, sure, Shang can do the same shit, but he's just more annoying at it, and I think the biggest thing for me in my mind, besides just throwing size 4s and being able to throw terrain, like him and Rhino can throw a lot of terrain, him and Jugs can throw, well, Jugs slides, but Jugs eventually has to throw on his backside and do you know who I am, like can burn brace and stuff like that. It's just, you probably just want somebody to pick it up. So like if you're playing on intrusions or meteors or something, he's just a solid option to like do Bill shit. He just does Bill shit, and then sometimes you have Wong to heal him, and he's really good with extra power turn 1. That's the biggest thing for Bill. And I just was kind of getting, not tired of Wong. I was getting tired of Shang. I just like playing Rhino more. I don't know. That's one reason. Okay. So that was that switch. Namor for Dracula. So this one's a little weird because I talked about dropping Dracula from my list before I even want to switch to another 5. And the reason it's a boring answer. It's a truly fucking boring answer. And I really wanted it to be like Angela because he liked Angela and we talked about it a little bit more. And the thing with Angela is she's really good at like threatening the midline, right? So like, she can safe grab if you need to, but she can also threaten the midline. And she gets a size 4 throw, or potentially if there's terrain nearby, and she gets an attack, and that's really strong. And that's better than Namor's turn 1, what he can do, right? Namor can walk up and hit you with 6 dice. Angela can fucking drop a big old terrain on you turn 1. The thing that kind of did it for me is twofold. One, if you do need to safe grab, as much as I hate safe grabbing with a 5, at least Namor's okay turn 2. He's not like crap after he safe grabs. He can charge and stuff like that. Like if Angela safe grabs, like sure she can then walk and like throw terrain and do a 6 dice attack, but she's not charging. And you could make the claim that like okay, like a throw is about as good as an attack, but it's just, and if she gets to double tap and throw, it's great. I don't know. I actually think Namor is actually a fun model to use, as much as I hate it to say it. Like all the movement he has with charging and like swimming, and then his spender is really cool. I really like the spender with like the 1 ping damage. I think there's a lot of like times that you can set up really good priority turns where like you're pinging a bunch of people, and especially with like somebody like Juggernaut who can also ping people, it has some uses. But you know, let's just say this is 17, but let's just say it was hammers, right? Hammer. You could run a team like Juggernaut and Namor, where I was doing Dracula before, and put 1 on each side and say, all right, I'm going to pick up the one, you know, I'm going to pick up a hammer with Namor and back up and just be obnoxious and here. And he's a steal. And Jugs is now sitting across from the other hammer, and you go, do you want to stand in front of Jugs? But it's also if you don't have priority too, and it depends if they have a safe grab or not. If they don't have a safe grab, you can put Jugs. I guess I should just put Jugs out here for purposes of seeing what I'm talking about. You could like put Jugs and let's actually bring Namor out here. Namor out and say, all right, who are you gonna grab in front of? If you grab in front of Juggernaut, you're getting hit with a slide and a punch, and Namor can safe grab this one. If you safe grab this one, or if you don't safe grab this one, Namor can safe grab it. Or if you grab it, sorry, if you just grab in front of him, then Namor's going to, let's say you have Wong here. Namor's going to get charged turn 1, you're going to get double tapped by Namor. So you're either getting double tapped by Namor, or you're getting slid and smacked by Jugs turn 1 and make a decision. And if you don't, I'll just pick it up. I'll just grab this one and then do the same thing over here, or, you know, vice versa. So there's definitely like, that's part of the reason that's kind of interesting is, again, you compare him to Dracula is the thing. Dracula is way more obnoxious because of clapback and healing. But one of the reasons I took Dracula out of my list is like, I don't want to play him on a lot of these shapes. Like, he's not overly good on peta flips. He's not good on peta flips. He's great on intrusions. He's okay on meteors. Like, he's a very obnoxious 5, don't get me wrong. And he's really good with the clapback and bump. But Namor, like, these setups where I'm like, I'm going to run 3-3-2, 5-5, and I'm going to run Jugs in a 5. Like, I didn't want to do that on, what's it called? Like, Mad Men or McCrane with Dracula, because he's not fast enough. Like, Namor can at least, like, get 2 attacks and flip multiple points. You know what I mean? Like, that's as much as I hate to say it, like, okay, yeah, I mean, that's it. Like, he's not as annoying he's easier to kill than Dracula, but he can get around and do his shit he needs to do with Jugs. Like you kind of turn your peta flip team and say, well, I'm going to take Namor and Jugs, who are both great peta flippers, and we're just gonna go, right? We're just gonna turn it on and let's do it. So that's kind of the reasoning there. Having the safe grab if needed, blah blah blah. Wong turns him on. Again, he can get to the back point. Who would ever think about Dracula could too, but he can get there and charge. Dracula would have to walk to get there. So it's just more options. As much as it sucks too, like on scrolls too, like if you do a scrolls with this team, like if you have priority, you know, grabbing it and coming back, and then Jugs threatens the other one. Just a lot of little things like that is why I kind of picked Namor. And okay, the big thing about Angela versus Namor, other than like what I just said, I mean, he has a reroll bubble, he steals. It's hard to really be like, oh yeah, why would you take one versus the other? Is probably the deciding factor for me was when Namor gets attacked and gets bumped, he can get back in, right? So like this guy and this guy, Dracula has technically, I guess, his bow, but it's just not as good, and he wanted to be more in the shit. Like if you defensively bump with Namor, like away, then like assuming you have 3 power, which you probably should. If you bumped away, you took a damage, you have 2 to start, so we'll just say math, you usually will. You can always charge back in. Like if Angela gets attacked and she has to bump backwards to survive, she's stuck out of range. Sure, she can do her stupid ass pursuit thing, but like it's not the same. It's like you don't have that kind of like ability. So that's why he just is a fun model, and he is really good, and he's good with Wong, and he can bump around. So again, he's probably not like the main pizza I'm going to take all the time. I still think Jugs I'd rather play more, but there are a lot of uses, and I think he has more uses in the world of like the double 5 teams. Like you can run him even like this 2-3, like Wong, one of the threes, and Strange at 20 is not a bad team. It's very fast. Even 20s that are like Skrulls, Extremis, or something, like you're super fast. You never feel like Namor just works on every shape, and like Dracula doesn't. That's really the end all be all reason. He's just a good model in every shape, and he's good with bump. So the last one is Mordo for Baron Zemo. So this has nothing to do with potentially a Zemo nerf, which I doubt there's one coming. I don't think he could use it. Like I don't think if he became like a medium move, I don't think anybody would be. I mean, people would be upset, but like everyone would be like, I get it. I don't value Zemo. Zemo and Shang have been 2 models. Shang I know is good, and Zemo I know is good, but they're 2 of the models that I'm just like annoyingly put in my roster. Like I know they're good, but I also like I don't think, I don't know. Sometimes Zemo is just a big pile of garbage, and sometimes he's pretty good. And there's like just like any model, but I don't know. I'm not as impressed by him all the time. I know he's good. I'm not here to deny Zemo, but I don't feel that bad removing him. So Mordo's an interesting one. So I know I hate on him a lot, and I ran him at Squad Goals 2024, and I blamed him for a lot of the stuff I was doing. But I look back and I say, okay, a couple things. One, it was a different meta with different crisis. There was more E-shapes, which he was fine at, but I also was doing the MODOK Ultron thing. I didn't have Rhino. I did have Juggernaut, but Magic wasn't good, and I didn't have her as an option either. Like, I wasn't doing, like, minimum core stuff. I wasn't doing, like, 2-3-3 type stuff. And so it was just a different world. And I look back and I go, well, I went 4-2, no, 4-1, 2-3-2. I lost to Sooner on Infinity, which it wasn't Mordo's fault. I don't even remember how Mordo died, but I think that was just, that game was, I wasn't as good as I am now. I mean, to be honest with you, I was not as good as I am now, even with Convocation and using Jugs. I feel like I'm so much of a better player now. But I also like lost on intrusions to like Weapon X, which like Wong and Mordo should not have been on intrusions with me, at least in that particular game. The way it went down, it just didn't have the firepower I needed. And I still almost won. Like it wasn't like it took some shit happening. I wasn't as good, so I give him a lot of shit. But I'm kind of coming to the fact of like, well, he has some uses, right? So I'm going to try to talk about him in a very positive way, which I haven't done before. So let's just look at Mordo and let's just think about him. He's 2-4-4, 6 health, 3 threat, medium move, medium base. He dies to throws, but so does your other shit. Like it's not, Magic has 1 more die than him. It's whatever, right? He's getting beat down anyway, and he's not good against physical. Sure, okay, we get it. He's good with books. He's fine with books. We know his profile isn't amazing, but he's a support piece. I mean, I don't think he compares directly to Magic in that case. He's probably more of a Clea comparison, I'd say. Um, right? And I did a Clea video, and it's funny that I did a Clea video and then I'm talking about putting Mordo in my roster. So I'm now going to have to talk good about Mordo in comparison to Clea. So some things I maybe favor Mordo over her. They're both 6 health, but she, for the dice buff, has to hurt herself, which is a thing. Like, it's not nothing to have to hurt yourself. The more I'm going to talk myself into the fact that I should probably test her as well. But let's talk about what's good about him before we do that. So, should I bring her up? Where is she? Let's add her to the roster so I can at least look at her. We'll remove Taskmaster just so I can see both. Oh. Roster. Okay. So she's 2-3-4 with 6 health. He's 2-4-4. He's slightly better there. The medium-based medium move is relevant. It's more relevant than you think, mainly because I think the one that kind of pops out in my mind is Skrulls. Having someone who can pick up your back scroll that is a 3 threat is really good, and being affiliated is even better. So, like, if you are running a team like Voodoo, Magic, Mordo, Juggernaut, Namor, for example, which isn't the worst team on Skrulls, to be honest with you, is like, okay, I have a punish in Juggernaut, I have a safe grab in Namor, and Mordo can grab the back one. Like, you have a lot of the things you want there. And, like, yeah, Zemo can grab the back one, but you need I'm a Baron or Wong to be able to, like, go forward, and then you can't take the same splashes that I just said, right? You can't take that setup. So having an affiliated model that can grab the back scroll is a big deal. And, you know, I don't have scrolls in my roster right now. I might. The only thing keeping me from some of the stuff I take is actually Inhumans. So, you know, I don't know what they're going to do in Inhumans, but if they do hit Terrigenesis, I'll probably put some of those back in my list and see him more. So, like, there's a world where he is decent on those, and, like, cool, okay, happy to have you back, bud. You know what I mean? So that's actually something that I consider. Being able to walk and you can flip the back meteor in one move is really good. That has a lot of uses. Being able to scroll in one move because you can either meditate or you can attack somebody if you want, or a senator, stuff like that. So maybe that's definitely a point to Mordo that is under, again. He's also he's just faster. He's just everything. There's just sometimes the small bases just aren't good enough, right? Her gainer is range 3, so they both have a range 3. Her gives bleed, and his is a builder that pushes. So that's more useful from a sense of, like, if you're double tapping somebody on something farther away from you, having the push on the size 2 is you're more likely to get him off of it. Obviously, getting the push is not, like, super likely. I mean, like, it's range 3 and you have to move. It's 4 dice, but if you get it, you get it. He has a gainer that's range 4, unlike hers, and, like, his gainer is much better than hers. That's an extra range, and hitting the hex is way more impactful than hitting the bleed. So, and being range 4 is, again, going across like a D or something. Even if you're, like, hitting in a cover or something, if you get the hex, you just feel good. It just feels good to get the hex. Spender wise, hers is 6 dice. So they're both range 4. Hers is his 3 power or 4 power? His is 4 power. Let's see. I should have put them next to each other in the roster, so I can go back and forth. I didn't even know that was a thing. Look at that. Learning something new every day. Breakdown roster. Now I can go back. Can I go back and forth? Oh my god. Let me go back and forth. There we go. We're in it, boys and girls. Okay, so he can meditate for 2 power. She can meditate for 2 power, but takes it. She gets 3 power. but all her stuff costs 3, all his stuff costs 2. So from a perspective of turn 1, they're both doing their thing. She can walk, pick up something, and do, or flip and do her thing, and so can he. So really, we were talking about these spenders. Both range 4. His gives incinerate, poison. His gives random triggers. They're close enough. Like, he has an extra die, more power. His are probably more relevant just because it's easier for him to like get the power to do it. Because like, if you think about it from a perspective of like health, for example, like she's likely to hurt herself. He doesn't. So like, if you think that taking damage converts into power, right? At least if he's like clapping back, he has more health. Does that make sense? Like, there's a good chance if she's dying, she has done 2 to 4 damage to herself, and so she's not getting that health into power, so she's not waking up probably with like 10 power. Whereas like there's a decent chance he could wake up with like 7 or 8 power and do a double spender, for example. And I mean, you just get more options with her from a perspective of you can do a throw, you can do a place, you can do a create dice pool. Now she gets more dice than he does. It's range 4. If it does damage to the 5, it gain judgment. I mean, listen, she has really good. I mean, there's probably a world where like you would never take both. Man, I'm gonna have a video where I take both of them, and I'm gonna get so much shit from people. There's no world, right? There can't be a world where you take both. Well, I don't fit him in my roster, and I like Taskmaster, so we're gonna go with Mordo for now. I think there's 2 things that kind of, if I had to really think about it, is the way that Mordo plays from a so let's just say the dice buff is like the main use here, right? And from a perspective of like Juggernaut, for example, the dice butt is better than any of the other 2 things. The place is cute, but you can get to the midline anyway, and the throw is whatever, right? So from a Juggernaut perspective, Mordo should be better because Mordo's buff is turned on turn 1 just like hers. The range, obviously hers is better with the judgment thing, but so it's 2 power, and Jugs can reduce the damage that he suffers so that if he does like 1 damage, he gets it back. He can reduce it, so he's fine. He's safe from it. So the downside is not good. The other thing is, on Rhino gets ornery with Sidorak. So like if you dice buff Rhino turn 1 and somebody's on the midline with something, you get a 7 dice attack. Potentially, let's just say there's no cover, just for whatever. They're just raw dogging it out there, right? If you do 3 damage, which is 7 versus like 3 or 4 is like 40 to 50%, you get enough power to just robbery them turn 1 and take it. Hell, you could robbery them and not take it turn 1 with just 2 damage because you're getting 1 from ornery. You start with 1, you get 1 from ornery. And hell, if you have long, you could only do 2 damage to robbery, right? So you could get like a massive lead turn 1 just by like attacking them with 7 dice and potentially robberying them. So you have to you don't have to spike as much. So, a normal Rhino needs to roll 5 dice and get 4 damage, or if you just do 2 damage with a 7 dice attack, you get to throw a freaking piece of terrain right at him, and that just starts the pain train that way. I think the other thing to think about is if Mordo's going to walk and not pick up something, because a lot of my stuff's midline, so you're not really worrying about it. But if he's going to walk, meditate, and dice buff somebody, he has enough power at the top of the next turn to do it, right? So that's a big deal too. You can walk, have enough power at the top of 2. So if you're going second with Juggernaut, right, or whatever, right? Like if your first activation is going to be Juggernaut on turn 2, whether you have priority or not, you're just going to do him. You don't have to go with somebody preemptively. Like Clea has to go preemptively. unless she's on Infinity. Unless Kalia's on Infinity and doesn't pick up turn 1, she does not have her dice buff on at the top of 2. So having to go with her in between might not be what you want. So being able to go, I attack them, even if you don't have priority or whatever. Maybe you do. Maybe you safe grab on the other side or grab with Rhino on the other side, and now you get, and you have priority, and you get to bump into somebody, 10 dice attack them, and then at the top of your turn, bump into somebody, 10 dice attack them. You just might be able to turn the game on that, and Mordo doesn't have to meditate or anything. He already has enough power. So I think when you think about it in those terms, what he can do over 2 turns, I think that kind of stuff is a big deal. Soul Barbers, whatever, if it comes up. The push thing, there's some cute things with the push and the Soul Barb. If you get a nice hex on somebody and you want to Soul Barb them, it's kind of cute. He also, if you're not worried about turn 2, so if you think about it, right? So I know this is not a B. Well, we can just do it. Where's Infinity? So one of the reasons I kind of thought about it was, I was thinking about Infinity. We'll do a little case study right now. Infinity samples. I played this twice at... Oh my god. My models aren't here. Mordo's here. I need another model. Magic. Need magic. Right. This is the team I ran, but I had Taskmaster instead of Mordo, right? And I think this team is legit pretty strong, especially with priority. Because my thought process is, I'm going to put Rhino on one side, I'm going to put Juggernaut on the other side. And then I'm going to put Wong on one of the sides, and Magic's in the middle. In this world, I guess Mordo's going over here, right? It's going to be something like, take it for what you will, something like this, right? Terrain and stuff dependent. But the idea is, it's samples and it's Infinity. I have priority, right? And so with Taskmaster, fuck if I know where he's going to go. But the idea is, you want to grab one with Rhino, because he can also stand on the back point at the same time, which is really sweet, right? They do whatever they want, okay? Right? You have priority. If they have to choose this one, they're in deep shit, right? If they don't choose it, you just walk up with Juggernaut and get it. And then Magic picks this one and goes to the weaker side, right? So she probably goes behind Rhino. So she can go here, and she just gets in range to be here on the point, right? Wherever she's going to be. Right? And so Wong can come here and do what he needs to do. Give him power, heal. That's the other thing, too. If you hold Wong long enough, he could heal Rhino if they attack him, or you just give a power to Rhino and get ready for next turn or something like that, right? So now you got your 2 samples here with Wong to protect, and who knows what the opponent's doing. I don't know. You have to kind of react to them. But over here, if this was Taskmaster, you could go pick it up. But if they pick it up in front of you, I mean, there's a world where if this is Taskmaster, depending on how they do it, you could just pick up this one with Taskmaster first. But, it's fine, but it's not that impressive. But, here, if they pick up this one, you could walk him, and you don't even have to meditate. You could attack this guy with him, right? It's 4 dice. Range 4. You can get there, right? You attack him, you're at 2 power, and you get a 4 dice attack that maybe does damage, and you get Hex. Potentially, right? It may whiff, whatever. You get an extra power. And then Juggernaut gets to go. And Juggernaut gets to freaking walk, slide into them, and do a 10 dice attack. It's without the Hex, without the attack that Mordo does, it's 60% chance to daze somebody. Depending on their, if you're a 5 health model. Now, a lot of people aren't going to be picking up with a 5 health model. But it's scary as fuck, man. It's scary as shit to stand up in front of this. And the worst part is, if it's Infinity, he has 2 power anyway at the start of his turn because of the Infinity, that you have priority, you just get to do it again. Right? And so depending on how much damage Juggernaut does turn 1, where he is, stuff like that, you're just in this like really, I don't want to say commanding spot, but in a pretty good freaking spot. And if you put him in the right spot, you can be one walk away from going to the other side. Again, that's something that like, so if you think about it from a perspective of Taskmaster, for example, right? Mordo, again, I'm not shitting on Taskmaster. He has a lot of uses, but this is just a case for Mordo in this particular one. Is Mordo can get here in 2 moves, right? That's really important to know from a perspective of turn 1, right? If you ever wanted to go cap the other side. But from a perspective of, like, think about it over 2 turns, right? If you ever want to be able to rotate over to the other side with Taskmaster, you know for a fact you have to move 3 times unless you get shot and bumped. So no matter what, Taskmaster has to move 3 times to get to this point. And let's just say it's Taskmaster instead of Jugs, and somebody picks this one up and you do the same thing over here. You're walking here and getting a 4 dice shield throw here, and then if you want to rotate to the other side next turn, you have to just double walk. You can't do anything else. Whereas he can walk here and either meditate or attack, and then you know next turn he gets here in 1 move, right? And maybe you do your little push thing, like your push attack or something. Or you just buff, like you could, your turn could be buff him for 2 dice, walk to the other side, and throw an attack or meditate for next turn. Whereas Taskmaster, like, is doing other things, and he's just different. Again, I don't think Taskmaster's bad. It's just like in this particular instance, which one's better? I don't think a medium mover gets across the B's. I'm pretty sure, actually. But that's another thing too. Like on, he doesn't. But I guess technically, if you ever got tapped, like if you're standing here and somebody attacked you, you could bump and then make it to the other side. He'll make it on intrusion on scoundrels. I like I said, I think the medium medium move is just has a lot more options, and he's like tied to Juggernaut. He's better than Taskmaster standing here. In this particular shape, and you can support 2 models in the back when he has range 4. Like if you put him in the right position, he can threaten a lot of the other side with like just little bolts of hex. Wherever Taskmaster can throw shields, he can do his thing. He's a bigger base for bumping. He's less prone to getting displaced because his bump's bigger, and he does have the anti-push thing if somebody was like to push him with an attack. Not a huge deal, but just something. I guess, could it matter? Actually, let me look. Could matter, right? This is like a weird, like, Here's something kind of dumb, but like, I mean, it's a real thing. Like, if he ever gets attacked by like King T, like, he can always get out of the second attack. Like, if King bounds and fucks him up, he might just kill him. But like, I mean, he gets 4 dice with 6 health versus 3 dice if he's out of range 3. Obviously, if he's in range 2, it's better. But, like, if King T attacks him and gets to push him, I guess the best thing you can do is King T. Well, that's true. Because he can always bump out. Yeah. Okay, mathematically, let's just real quickly talk about it. If King T is out of range 2, then if he doesn't push you, you can always bump. What the fuck is this? Oh, he can always bump out. He can bump out. Sorry, this is King T. He can always bump out of range 3. But if he pushes you, even in the base to base, you can use your thing and walk straight backwards, which doesn't get you out of King T's second attack, but then you can bump afterwards. So as long as King T does enough damage to make you like have the power, you can always get out of his second attack. That's actually pretty good. All right. Fuck yeah, let's go. Just something interesting, I guess. But like this setup is like pretty cool, right? Like even like I think where Taskmaster in this team like is good and has uses, like I think he does almost turn this particular setup up like a notch. And then it just becomes really difficult because, you know, she has Journey. He has Do You Know Who I Am? He's very fast. He has a place. He's not super fast, but he's faster than Taskmaster. And you're just at this like the mayhem of like the game might just end in 3 turns. Even if you have this sample, right? Turn 1 you're scoring it's 5, most likely it's 5-5. Best case for your other team, right? If they somehow stay within 2, because he can get you off of it, right? And if there's a good chance that like one of the next 3 turns, do you know who I am, robbery, or journey through limbo is going to get you off of the point, and they're going to possibly get 6 points, and then you just lose into 3 turns. So I actually think this 17 can be really nasty on this setup. But yeah, with Magic being like a more powerful 3, a really fighty 3, I mean, he does have some uses with Wong. I probably wouldn't take him on like Intrusion. But if you have like the setup where there's 2 back points for him, it's like, who the fuck cares if it's Wong and Mordo? Like, he supports Juggernaut really well. He can be wherever he wants. Like, whether this is Mordo or Taskmaster, like, it's kind of a moot point there. Like, yeah, if you're going to go to the middle, I'd want Taskmaster. It also gives you the option of, like, having a 6 core with Taskmaster, like these two and Taskmaster, upgrading Wong in some instances. I think it is interesting on things like... There's times, because you can do it now, where you can take, like, Taskmaster and Mordo is probably a lot of times not as good as Voodoo Wong, but there are cases where, like, if you're taking Jugs, you might want both. Or you might want him. You could also do kind of interesting 19s where you run, like, Mordo Wong, Mordo Taskmaster, Magic. It also teams like Taskmaster, Magic, Voodoo. It just gives you the option to take a support piece instead of Taskmaster and take like Jugs and Namor and say, I'm going to get extra dice and just kill models instead. I mean, Strange can get the extra dice. Bill getting the extra dice isn't that bad. I mean, Bill can reduce it, but if he gets a power, right? But even like a Summon the Storm, like, I wouldn't want my Bill to take a damage particularly, but like, if somebody picks up a model and you have Bill and you're just like, I'm going to 8 dice Summon the Storm turn 1, or 8 dice reroll all, poison with Strange, like, the pressure it can put on an opponent can be like really big. Probably something I wasn't as good at. I was so focused on the Ultron thing back then that I think it's a different world now. There's no Thanos, there's no Ultron that's unkillable, like, there's some more weenies out there. Even Namor, right? You could really wanted, you could 6 dice charge to give stagger turn 1 without DR. I don't really want to damage those models, but, you have some synergy with a lot of the models, like, that kind of stuff. So that's the reason. I wasn't taking Zemo that much. I kind of talked about it before. I'm like, I don't really take this 3 very often. And I think that having an affiliated one just gives you more options. Lastly, you can do kind of like funky teams where you take like you could just add Taskmaster to this team to make it 20 if you really wanted, which is kind of funny to be able to go 6 wide 20. I don't have enough 3s for it, but you could do this with Voodoo. I guess you don't need him then. That's not as cool. I guess it's not as cool if you have to take a bunch of affiliated. I guess you could do this with Taskmaster and Voodoo and be 19. Like, sure, at that point you'd rather have Taskmaster be like Zemo or Mummy, but like for the roster slot, it's just not there. It's just not there. Because I do want the affiliated 3. Because I think there are times where you want Taskmaster over Baron Mordo, and there's times where you want all of them. Like, yeah, I'm down to try this. I think you just accept that, like, sometimes Taskmaster is just annoying enough, and he's not Zemo, but he's annoying enough to be like good, and then you want the affiliatedness. The other thing I'm going to talk about. So those are the 3 changes. I know we're deep in. Man, we're almost an hour in. Just to talk about 3 models, but this is what we do. She's not in the list. Let's put big old Tasky back to kind of piss some people off because it's not her. So now, like, you kind of figure out the reasons why it's Mordo potentially over her. Big ones would be base size and the ability to do it on the top of the turn. The other card I want to talk about, which is not that exciting, but maybe I've talked about it before, is Astral Ring. So this is one the Italian guy really likes, and I liked it. I like it. I've made a video on it. I've used it a couple times. It probably deserves more play just to test it, and I feel like it's a time now where I gotta just say, it's kind of like running Strangeless, where I needed to tell myself I just need to do it, and then I realized I'm like, oh, there are some really cool teams that don't involve Strange, and so I did a whole video on it, but it's been a while, so I'll just talk about it again. At start your convocation activation, you spend 2. Place an ally projectile token within 3 of this character while a token is on the battlefield of this character. You can't advance or be placed. That has uses. Measure the range of this character's attacks and superpowers from that token instead of this character. This character contests objectives as if it was that projection token was in space instead of a contesting objective. Normally, remove the projection from the battlefield during the next cleanup phase. So after scoring, obviously. So this card isn't like super hard to understand. Like you pay 2 and you put a token down, right? So where would this potentially be useful? Again, I have a whole video on it from a long time ago, but I don't remember. I think one thing that's kind of interesting is like if you set up Voodoo here, like the token is as long as like Voodoo walking again. So like you can set, we'll just use this token as the token, right? You can set it's not going to click on, but you can set the token here and contest this point. So like turn 2, it's hard, it's interesting to break down these cards because you can do it in a way that's like, what's the way to think about this, right? Being able to contest, let's just think about it from an action standpoint, right? Let's just say this enemy's at a range, right? They're back here, right? Let's just say an enemy's chilling back here. And you projection here with Voodoo. You now have the ability. So if you wanted to attack this enemy, Voodoo would have to walk here and attack him, right? So right off the bat, you are paying 2 power to get an extra attack with Voodoo, right? Just let's just put it that you get to Wakanda Forever or Siege of Darkness with 1 model. Doesn't sound that great, but it's a thing, right? The other thing is you don't get to use the leadership, unfortunately, because the leadership gets turned off by the card. But like you can test this point, and they can't do anything about it, right? They can tie it and put more models there, but they can't actually get you off of it without killing you on the other side. So like if you just put yourself here, they could throw you off and do stuff. But if you're here, there's nothing they can do. So you might put this down, get to double tap somebody on this side, contest this point while still being safe back here. Just for Voodoo, right? You basically get an extra attack. You could almost think about it like extra attack, 1 attack less against you, in theory, right? Because if you were standing there and you don't kill that model, they get to double tap you. You might kill them because you get to double tap. And you get to project and get that point. So if you're like have Wong back here or some other model, you get to contest this one while this model's back here. You can't be placed or moved, so it's not like I guess they can throw you. You can be thrown, right? Can you be thrown? Be placed or advanced. Okay, you can be thrown. But you can't use your leadership. You can be pushed. But you still count as being up here. Like, they can't stop that. Yeah. I mean, they could kill you, but that's not the point. The point is you project away from you and you can do stuff like that. It is kind of cute on Strange, too. I know that's like, I've talked about it before, but like if you're like on the opposite Infinity, and Strange gets to like put it down with like priority. So like he probably has. If Strange was to walk here, let's just say you're Strange and you walk here and you do a range 5 against somebody, right? You're going to be at 2 power going into 3, 5 power the next turn. No, sorry, 3 power. Yeah, you're going to be at 5 power in the next turn, and then you're going to get the Infinity. You're going to be at 6 power, and then you're going to put it down. You're going to be at 4 power, right? So depending on how many people are over here, you could like project yourself here, double tap somebody, and like easily push 2 people away and be safe here. You're safe back here. You're automatically contesting this one, and like it's easier than like putting your like if you place yourself up here, right? It's like half a scalpel. It's like being able to scalpel yourself up here for 2 less power, and then but you're also safe from damage, right? Like if you were to put yourself here, scalpel up, double tap somebody, and port 2 people away, they could potentially walk back and like remove you. But if you're here and you get to double tap and port 2 people away, they don't get to do anything. Like you're safe like over here. Like there's a couple uses for it. I think Voodoo and him are the 2 big ones. I can't really think of. I mean, you can possess with it too. That's kind of funny. So like you could put it down. It obviously is like again, it's the same distance as if you were to move, but you're not blocked by anything. So terrain and other people can't block you, so you can put it underneath. The other use that's kind of funny with it is on Fisk, because you can put it on a Fisk, and they can't get you off of it, but also like you won't. Is that the cool thing? When does it happen? Oh yeah, that's the funny thing. Oh, this is the fun you can fuck somebody on in Fisk. This is the funny part. If they only have 1 model on the Fisk, you can put this on it to contest it, and then they won't get the point for it, but then it goes away before the Fisk moves, so you get to move the Fisk. So you can not only contest the Fisk and not worry about getting stuck. So 2 things. You can put it on the Fisk, and then you can't get stunned by it, right? So if like Strange is off in the back, he can put it on the Fisk, double tap somebody, teleport 2 people off, and if they come back to it, like even if they don't come back to it, you're gonna and you win it, they can't stun Strange because it's too far away. So you're safe in that case. They can't attack you. And if they do contest it with 1 model and you tie it, it goes away in the cleanup, and then you get to move it. So you basically could get to move it on a tie. If you move it on a tie, essentially. Hell, you move it on if you win it and they're unhealthy. If they're unhealthy standing on it and you put your token on it, you will win it, and then you also get to move it yourself. So that's kind of a funny, like, I don't know how much is going to come up, because how much are you going to play Fisk and how much are you going to not take like your Juggernaut type stuff on Fisk. But it's a funny card. It's one of those cards that like I don't know how good it is, but it's definitely in the realm of like, what's the best way to put it? It's in the realm of it's goofy enough and like you can see the use cases that you can kind of say to yourself, this is actually kind of good, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like it's unique enough. I think that's probably the word that I would use. It does unique enough stuff that like it's just another layer, right? I don't think rooting people with Bane of Dalimbal is like a layer that's like super convincing to me. Well, this has like a cute layer to it. I put Recal on this list. I mean, Orb of Agamotto is interesting. It's probably better than I give credit for, but I'm also not like, I probably won't put it in my roster a lot of the time. Oh, it's been 3. That's so fucking gross. It's probably fine. It could be one in the meta, we'll see. But right now, it's not in my roster. I'm not going to talk about Crisis stuff now, just because it's already been an hour. But I could see it changing up. I do think I'm still very good on Scoundrel. I still am very good on Riots and Infinity, especially with Namor and Jugs. And Rhino and some of the teams I said. Scoundrels, I could see either way, though I'm probably still good on it. And then obviously, like, I'm probably really good on everything I have. But there's a world where like Skrulls or something comes in if Inhuman Terrigenesis gets nerfed. Like this is the anti-Inhuman setup. But I'm also like good on pay to flips now with Namor and Jugs, and I'm not gonna make that mistake right now because my heart can't take going back and playing them. But there is a world where like you can take both of them on that. All right, yeah, because that's the other thing too, right? There's a world where you can run Jugs, Namor, Taskmaster or Mordo, Magic, and Wong on a pay to flip, and actually have two models that are really good at the pay to flip, and including some models that hide in the back. Like Mordo's not good at flipping the back one, but you can take a 2 dice shot at it. Not the worst thing in the world. And like Magic can always come help if needed. Somebody could, and Namor can flip two of them, so he can at least attempt to, or at the very least walk charge to the back one and try to get a flip off with Wong. He's really good with Wong. Damn. Yeah, that's probably. Well, there's my reasoning, guys. Thanks for listening. Hopefully, you enjoyed me rambling about this, and thanks for listening.